We're going to dive into Haters Jimmy's latest NBA mock draft with trades in just a second. But as a reminder, the NBA draft is like a week away, so you should probably subscribe because we're going to be live for the entire thing, breaking down the picks before the major networks have them. If you haven't already, hit that big red button and subscribe today. Let's dive in then, Jimmy. Number 1, Anthony Edwards, the Timberwolves, not LaMelo, because you can't say Melo in the comments section.
Listen, Anthony Edwards wants to go to Minnesota. I believe he is the best fit in Minnesota. Anything else you're hearing right now, I believe, is a total smokescreen. As long as they keep this pick, Edwards has to be the guy.
Let's get to number 2 then, our first trade. LaMelo Ball going from the pick that belonged to the Golden State Warriors. He goes to the Chicago Bulls. Break down this trade, Jimmy.
Listen, Chicago is very, very high on LaMelo. The Bulls believe that Kobe White and LaMelo Ball can fit together in the same backcourt. So I think they're going to do anything they can to get up to that number 2 pick. We know the Warriors are listening to offers to move down, and if it's just 2 spots, plus you add a backup point guard like Tomas Satoransky, you get Chandler Hutchison, who's an unproven product after 3 years, and then you get a second-year guy in Daniel Gafford. I think this is a trade the Warriors do, and if the Bulls are as high on LaMelo as they say they are, I think this guy has to get it done.
Who wins this trade here?
If LaMelo Ball reaches his potential, I think it's the Chicago Bulls.
Okay. Let's go to pick number 3 then. James Wiseman goes to the Hornets.
Yeah, they're high on James Wiseman. They've looked to trade up as well, but if it shakes out like this, he's there at 3, they don't have to make any moves.
To pick number 4 then, again, part of this Warriors-Bulls trade, the Warriors going with another big man, Onyeka Okongwu, if I got that right.
Yeah, close enough. Onyeka Okongwu is my number 1 big man in this draft. I have him I think he's going to be a better player than James Wiseman.
Ooh.
I think his ceiling is a little bit lower, but his floor is much higher than Wiseman. Think Bam Adebayo 2.0.
Who I love.
Yes, and I think that's a perfect fit for the Golden State Warriors at 4.
At number 5, the Cleveland Cavaliers going with Deni Avdija.
Yeah, listen, I love Avdija. I think this is a guy that can be a point forward in the NBA. And this Cleveland team, they need wings. Avdija is that guy. Upgrade over Chetty Osman, I guess, is their guy right now.
In what I think is going to be kind of a wild NBA draft because of the depth and the lack of clear-cut superstar prospects, we want you guys in the comments to predict who will be the top 5 players taken. You just saw Jimmy's prediction there. Now it's your turn. Let us know in the comments section. Another trade coming in here at number 6, Pelicans and the Hawks here, Jimmy.
Yes, the Pelicans get Isaac Okoro to kind of shore up that wing depth problem that they have behind Brandon Ingram. And how they get there is by trading away Drew Holiday. Latest reports have Holiday potentially going to the Hawks this offseason, and here's how I think it has to happen. The Pelicans get 6, DeAndre Hunter, and Kevin Huerter, which feels like a lot, and it is a lot of good young talent.
But it's Drew Holiday.
It's Drew Holiday, and the Hawks are getting a certified starting 5 when they get Holiday in there, plus they get a couple early second-round picks as well.
That's a fun trade right there. All right, number 7, Killian Hayes going to the Detroit Pistons.
Yeah, this is a guy that I've kind of had going to Detroit since the beginning. He and Sekou Doumbouya are actually very good friends, so it works out well.
Perfect.
The Pistons need a point guard. They're looking to move on from Derrick Rose.
The New York Knicks at number 8, Obi Toppin.
Because it's a power forward, and the Knicks love power forwards. But in all reality,
so mean to the Knicks.
I mean, they deserve it. But Obi Toppin, best player available here. I think he has the very real shot at being Rookie of the Year next year. Could come out as potentially the best player in year 1 from this draft.
Our NBA mock draft with trades at number 9. Here's another one. The Boston Celtics moving up to take Patrick Williams, Jimmy. What's going on here?
So the Boston Celtics like Patrick Williams a lot, and this guy has a very high ceiling. Now, he's a little bit unproven, but you take him because of his potential. And the Celtics team like what they saw out of him in his first and only year at Florida State. So I could see them packaging their first-round picks to move up to 9 to the Wizards, who aren't set on taking anybody at 9. The only way the Wizards even stay here, I think, is if one of the big men fall in Okongwu or James Wiseman. That's probably not going to be the case. So they could look to move back and acquire more picks from the Celtics where they could go and take their guy in Patrick Williams.
Sell me on a player going in the top 10 who couldn't even put up 10 points per game, Jimmy.
Okay. Elite defender already. He is also an incredible rebounder. Although 4 rebounds per game doesn't show it, he has the length and the size to be a good rebounder. He has the ability to be an elite catch-and-shoot player. Only thing he really needs to refine is his finishing skills around the rim. Look, I know it's Florida State, so it seems a little bit, cliche here. Jonathan Isaac 2.0, if he reaches his full potential, that can shoot and hopefully stay healthy. You're not taking this kid because of what you're going to get in year 1. You're taking this kid for what you're going to get in years 3 to 5 and so on.
We'll break down the trade details on this in just a second, but first, get an NBA face covering. They're on sale, 30% off for a limited time. Head over to chatsports.com/NBA Max. You've got them, of course, for the Celtics, for the Warriors, for all the NBA teams, It's chatsports.com/NBA Mask. Check the comments. Check the description as well. I'll make sure that link gets in there. Some fantastic deals here, Jimmy.
Hey, we're going to be back in arenas in December, so you know what you're going to have to wear is a mask, and you might as well wear one repping your favorite team that you're going to watch. So again, Tom said it. That's chatsports.com/NBA Mask. Up to 30% off for a limited time, so go check out our friends over at Fanatics.
All right, so Jimmy, then break down this trade only involving picks here.
Yeah, I think no players moved in this one. I don't think either of these teams have players that the other one wants. Don't think the Wizards are interested in Gordon Hayward that much. So the Celtics kind of scale back on the guaranteed money they'd have to give first-round players. They trade away their 3 first-round picks, move up to number 9, and then also get an early second-rounder from the Washington Wizards. The Wizards get a chance to really bulk up their rotation. They need as many players as possible that can play high-level basketball, and 3 first-round picks as opposed to just 1 gives you a much better shot at actually hitting on one of them.
Well, let us know who you think says no in the comments section. Type BOS for the Celtics, WAS for the Wizards. Jimmy, obviously you like this trade, but if a team says no, who is it going to be?
If one team does say no, I think it's the Celtics because, I mean, moving from 14 to 9 isn't a huge jump, but at the same time, I think they'd like this one a lot.
Let's round out the top 10, Jimmy, with yet another trade.
Listen, all the fun trades in this draft are going to come in the lottery. That's what we know, and that's what we expect. And number 10 appears to be on the move as the Suns and the Thunder are already talking about a Chris Paul trade. So here's what I came up with. CP3, number 25, goes to Phoenix. Number 10, Rubio and Kelly Oubre headed to the Oklahoma City Thunder. So you can see the Thunder take a very talented wing, one of my favorite players in this draft, in Devin Vassell. At number 10, you know the Thunder love their first-round picks, and here they get a chance to take a great one.
All right, guys, make your predictions here. How many trades will happen in the first round? Jimmy, I know you got a lot of them going on here. I'll give you a chance to make a off-the-cuff prediction here. How many?
I'll say over 5.5.
Okay, over 5.5 there. I'm going to make this the pinned comment on today's video. So if you get the ad break here on YouTube, scroll on down and get your votes in. All right, outside the top 10 here, the San Antonio Spurs going overseas. Hopefully I pronounced his name correctly here. Alexei Pokusevski.
That was pretty solid. You can call him
the little flub in the middle.
Yeah, you can call him Poku for short.
I like Poku.
Look, I love this guy.
I don't.
You sure don't. He's tall and skinny. But he's a project, and guess what? Spurs are entering rebuild mode. They have time to take this project.
I just don't believe in drafting 7-footers who are maybe 200 pounds.
Hey, Giannis was there too, so you never know.
Wasn't 7-footer.
That's true.
At the time.
That is true.
All right, number 12, Tyrese Halliburton going to the Sacramento Kings at Iowa State.
Yeah, I think Halliburton could go even higher, but here for the Kings, I know they already have De'Aaron Fox, but you take the best player available because you need talent, and that's what Tyrese Halliburton is, and you can play them in the same backcourt if you want to.
All right, Pelicans at 13, Jimmy.
Again, they're trying to address that need at wing and at the wing position, and they want to get better at shooting. Aaron Nesmith out of Vanderbilt, he does both of those things.
Finishing up this but getting back to this Wizards-Celtics trade from earlier, Saddiq Bey goes from Villanova to Washington.
Yeah, so this is where Washington moves from 9 down to 14 at the end of the lottery. They take a wing that can play alongside Bradley Beal and John Wall and Rui Hachimura now. I think Saddiq Bey is the best pure 3-and-D player in this draft, and Wizards get a good one here at 14.
All right, Tyrese Maxey goes number 15 to the Orlando Magic.
Yeah, kind of reassurance in case Markelle Fultz isn't as good as they think he is, or he can play the 2-guard position as well. I like Tyrese Maxey. He plays defense like a dog, too.
All right, outside of the top 15, we'll pick up the pace here a little bit since we are doing 2 rounds in this one.
Let's go.
Desmond Bane goes to the Trailblazers. Precious Achiuwa goes to Minnesota. Cole Anthony to the Mavs. R.J. Hampton Hampton to the Brooklyn Nets, and then Kyra Lewis to the Miami Heat. Break down some of these picks here, Jimmy.
Desmond Bane is a guy that is moving up everyone's draft board, including my own. Perfect fit there for the Trailblazers. Minnesota Timberwolves need a power forward next to Towns. Achua does that. Hey, at 18, you're the Dallas Mavericks. You can take really any position, and it fits a need. Cole Anthony, too talented to pass up on. RJ Hampton, you're looking at upside, of course, for the Nets. And then Kyra Lewis Jr., a solid, probably the best point guard available for the Heat at 20.
All right, our next batch of picks begin with Terrell Terry going to the 76ers.
This is a kid that can shoot the lights out of the gym. I like him a lot for Philly.
Another reminder here, part of the trade we mentioned earlier, number 25, this pick goes to the Suns. They take Jaden McDaniels.
Jaden McDaniels is a guy who in college, he didn't really put it all together, the skill, the talent, and really the overall body that he has as well. But if it comes together in the NBA, it's a good pick for the Suns at 25.
So breaking down now, we know the pick that the Suns used here as part of that trade. Is this a playoff contender? Hypothetically speaking, with the draft pick and with the CP3 on the roster.
I'm going to say no because they're still in the West, but I still think they're fighting for an 8 seed. It's tough, but they're just still so young despite having a 35-year-old point guard.
So where will Chris Paul play? Get your votes in here. PHX for the Suns, OKC for the Thunder, or if you're feeling a completely different team, well, then just comment. I'm sure there are plenty of potential destinations for Chris Paul. The Knicks remain a potential fit as far as I'm concerned. But get your votes in for us in the comments section. All right, the back end of round one here, Jimmy. Break it down for me.
Yeah, Washington gets their second and third first-round picks from the Boston Celtics, and they go with a talented passer in Malachi Flynn at 26 and a good big man that can play either the forward or center position at 30. Also, look at number 28. Grant Riller out of Charleston goes to the Lakers, addresses a huge need for them as a playmaker off the bench.
So that is it for round one. Now let's dive into round two. Same thing here, Jimmy. What do you make of these picks?
Look, the Dallas Mavericks get Tyler Bay, who can play either forward position, a good defender as well. Jamias Ramsey's a guy I'm very high on, going to the Hornets at 32. Leandro Bolmero, maybe the Timberwolves like him a lot. Maybe they want to stash him for a year after already taking 2 first-rounders. Emmanuel Quickley. 76ers, you need shooting around Ben Simmons. Take Emmanuel Quickley. And then the Sacramento Kings get Vernon Carey Jr., big man out of Duke at 35.
Historically, we've often seen a lot of these draft and stash guys go at the beginning of round two. Recently, though, that's not been as popular. I think that happens again this year, or which way does the trend shift back to?
I do think we'll see some draft and stash guys at the very beginning and a little bit earlier, just because there are a lot of teams that already have so many first-round picks, like the Boston Celtics. Timberwolves have 2 of them, so they could take a guy that they don't have to give guaranteed money right away.
Who is your most underrated player in this draft? Let us know in the comments section. And Jimmy, on the spot, what are you thinking with here?
I'm going to go with Jamias Ramsey, the guy you saw going from Texas Tech, going in my early second round. I think he's a first-round talent if he can play a little better defense in the NBA.
Highlighting this little section here, number 37 overall, Jordan Nwora going to the Boston Celtics as part of a deal with the Washington Wizards. Break down him for me here.
Jordan Nwora is an NBA-level shooter. Now, he can't finish around the rim all that well. He spaces the floor but he spaces the floor really, really well. Now, he's not a great defender, but he defends well in the post, so it kind of makes up for what he can't do on the wing. So the Celtics, they go out and get Patrick Williams in round 1 with the 9th pick, and then they come in and get a pure shooter in Jordan Nwora with the 37th pick. I think this is a really good pickup for the Celtics, a team that does need shooting around guys like Tatum and Brown and whoever they go with. And look, in today's NBA, you get as many wings as possible. That's what Nwora would be for them.
Now, explain to me, because I kind of asked this earlier with the Celtics pick about how they're going to take a guy with less than 10 points per game in the top 10. Now you got a guy with 18 points per game and shoots 40% from deep. I am a sucker. I'm in for that type of player. Why do you have him fall into round 2?
Listen, he is an older prospect. That's always a concern for NBA teams. He doesn't finish well around the rim at all. And if you can't do that in college, is it going to go well to the NBA? Plus, you take the defensive wing in Patrick Williams in round 1. You take the offensive wing in Jordan Nwora in round 2. You also take a more proven prospect here with Jordan Nwora. So it'll be interesting to see. I don't think maybe he doesn't fall this far. I think he could be earlier second round, maybe even late first. But very good value pick here for the Celtics.
Well, folks, we are rapidly approaching 1,000 subscribers on our very recently launched Boston Celtics channel. So if you haven't already, for all you Celtics fans out there, hit that big red button and subscribe today. If you're watching on our main channel and you're a Boston fan, head over to chatsports.com/Celtics TV and subscribe today. All right, the Celtics here, Jimmy, they're kind of making some trades. Are they going to have more of a truly contenderish year than I think what we saw last season? I had high hopes for them and wasn't quite as good as I thought they were going to be.
I still think they need to get a legitimate big man in the middle.
Agree.
This bullpen rotation is fun, but Daniel Tice, Robert Williams, I don't know. But hey, if you take Patrick Williams, you get three Williams brothers. Patrick Williams, Grant Williams, Robert Williams. No relation, but it would be fun.
So what should Boston do then with their draft picks? Type K for keep or type in T for trade. Let us know what you guys think in the comments section. Boston seems to always have a bunch of picks, Jimmy. What should they do this year?
They got to trade them. They can't use all 3 first-round picks. They can't guarantee that much money to unproven talent. I think they're going to be trading them this year.
All right, moving on now to pick number 41 through 45. Some notable names here, Jimmy. Trey Jones kicks things off at 41.
Listen, you want a proven point guard for the San Antonio Spurs? That's what Trey Jones is. At 42, Atlanta obviously getting this pick from the Pelicans, the trade that involved Drew Holiday. They take Paul Reed, a big man out of DePaul. Isaiah Joe, a sharpshooter out of Arkansas. Elijah Hughes is a guy that's actually climbing up draft boards. I don't mind him for the Bulls at 44. And then Udoka Azubuike out of Kansas had an incredible test at the Combine, and now going to the Orlando Magic to back up Nikola Vucevic at 45.
As a reminder, the Hawks traded for Drew Holiday in Jimmy's mock draft here. I'll tell you what, I like this team.
Listen,
This is a good squad.
it is a good squad. They give up a little bit of depth by giving up Kevin Huerter and DeAndre Hunter, but you give up Huerter to commit to Holiday at the 2. You give up Hunter to commit to Cam Reddish at the 3, and your starting 5, it's set. Just fill out that depth a little bit more. I like this team a lot in the Eastern Conference.
Rounding out the Celtics picks here, Yoli Childs out of BYU, number 47 overall.
He had a great interview with the Celtics, and they're even considering him with an earlier second-round pick. But this is a guy that is kind of a tweener, a 3 or a 4, can shoot the lights out at BYU, but because he played at BYU and really didn't prove himself all that consistent, he'll probably fall to the late second round. I think the Celtics would be ecstatic to get him at 47.
All right, number 51 to 55 here, Marcus Howard out of Marquette leads the way to the Golden State Warriors.
I want him to go so much higher, but he's so tiny, but he's going to be fun in the G League and then maybe in the NBA in a couple years. Now, you can see Devon Dotson at 53, Tyshawn Alexander at 54, Reggie Perry at 55, but the guy I care the most about in this list, Lamine Janae out of Cal State Northridge, 26 points per game and 11 rebounds. But he played at Cal State Northridge.
All right, take us home then with the final picks of your latest NBA mock draft, including a name I think most of us know, or at least should know, Kenyon Martin Jr.
Yes, and it is that Kenyon Martin Jr. coming in straight out of high school into the NBA. I think he's worth a gamble there at 56 for the Hornets. At 57, the Clippers get a guy that they could draft and stash in Rokas Jokubaitis, and I actually like him a lot. Might take him a couple years to get to the league. Killian Tilly is a guy that really should have gone higher, but injuries held him back at Gonzaga. If he's really healthy, we'll see what happens. Ashton Hagens out of Kentucky. You know those Kentucky guards always get picked somewhere at 59.
Like
and then Caleb Wesson, a kid who's dropped a lot of weight in the offseason. I think he's worth taking that final pick for the New Orleans Pelicans at 60.
All right, so before we go, we have a question for you guys. Will you watch all 60 picks this season? Type Y for yes, type N for no. I'm going to watch all 60 picks. Hater Jimmy's going to watch all 60 picks. And not really watch, we'll be live for the entire NBA draft. So if you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed. Turn on those notifications. We'll have the picks just like we have over the past 3 years before the major networks do. So if you haven't already, hit that big red button and subscribe today.